You are such a friendly black cat. Are we live on internet? How soon do we go live on internet? Oh, it looks like we're going live on internet. It looks like we are here. Yes, hello. Black cat, you are so adorable. I have a new friend in Black Cat. This is so nice. I like Black Cat. Hello, everybody. This is Discord Chaos Agent 11. As you may have known, as you may already know recently, Hillary Clinton unified the country in spreading her conspiracy theories about Tulsi Gabbard and Jill Stein. People were like, whoa, that's a little crazy. Even Kamala Harris was like, well, she's entitled to her opinion. That's what Kamala Harris said. She was like, well, I'm not going to completely discount that because I don't like Tulsi Gabbard. We had big exchange at debates, but man, I don't have enough room in my tinfoil hat for that one. But I guess Hillary does. Okay, that's her opinion. Hillary Clinton said all those things, but here is the important part, and here's why I'm here today. Where did she get those ideas in the first place? You guessed it, Black Cat. Me. Recently, I sent an email to the email address don'tfishmebro@gmail.com. I thought there was good chance that that email address belonged to John Podesta, who would then send it to Hillary Clinton. I was correct. Here is the email I sent. Dear Hillary, this is Chaos Agent number 11. I sow discontent from Mother Russia. I'd like to thank you for blaming me for your 2016 loss. Even though I had nothing to do with your 2016 loss, people think I now have way more social media clout than I do. As a result, I get to go on show with Black Cat, which is very nice. I like Black Cat. And also, I get to do social media influencing for many Instagram models. I still do not understand the job, but I enjoy doing it. So thank you, Hillary Clinton, for that career bump for me. Also, I want to tell you, Tulsi Gabbard, Jill Stein are my BFFs. There you have it. They are totally my BFFs. We go out and make aloha all the time. This is not true, by the way. I'm not actually BFFs with either one of them, but I told Hillary Clinton that that was true in email. Hey, this is Chaos Agent number 11. I'm best friends with Jill Stein and Tulsi Gabbard. I don't know what you want to do with this information. Maybe embarrass yourself on a podcast. So there you have it. Chaos Zone. Now stay tuned for Get Your Booze On with John or whatever this show is called. Or the Black Cat Show. I love Black Cat. Best producer in the business. All right. Goodbye. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron. We're back. It's been a minute. How have you been? I hope everybody is good. I hope everybody had an amazing week. I was out of town for my sister's wedding, and it was exciting stuff. It was great. Everybody was happy. It was fun. It was a little hectic, a little chaotic, but we got through. All was well. It's exciting. Good stuff. Lucy was very excited to see my fiance and myself return. She was so stoked. She didn't eat her dinner last night because she was just so excited we were home. She didn't want to leave our side. She was like, "You're back. Please never leave again," which was adorable and terrifying at the same time. Whenever my cat does something out of the ordinary, like not eat her dinner, I panic immediately. And I think, should I rush her to an emergency vet right away? Something might not be okay. And I panic for a little bit. Then I have to talk myself down. I'm like, look, this is totally, she's just excited. She was a little stressed out because we were gone. And she's just not really thinking about food for the moment. If she doesn't eat tomorrow, then worry about it. But right now, dude, just taking a stride. You might be thinking, Ron, you sound almost a little bit irrational when it comes to your cat. Yeah, totally. Completely irrational. I get it. But anyway, she's eating fine now. She inhaled her breakfast and was whining for it at the usual time. So, yeah, all's well. Lucy's stoked. All's good. Good to see everyone again. Yeah, I missed you all very dearly. I hope you missed this show as well. So, what are we starting with? Man, I'm not going to say I completely unplugged from the news. I wasn't doing streams, but I was still paying attention. As much as you can when you're doing a family function for a little bit. But now what's really floating around the blogosphere is Hillary going to run after she threw that shade at Tulsi Gabbard and Jill Stein, saying that they were Russian assets. She had no evidence for this claim, by the way. Just felt like saying it on a podcast. And there have been a lot of responses from all across the board. There was an MSNBC clip where they were like, well, Tulsi didn't really deny it. But anyway, there's been a lot of response to this, a lot of backlash. And now some are speculating, is this her way of saying, hey, she's going to jump into this thing? So the real short answer to this question is we don't know for sure yet one way or another. We don't know what for sure, but let's take a look at what's available to us as of the recording of this and kind of see what's what. But, short answer, if you're looking for the shortest of short answers, we don't know one way or another yet. I'm leaning towards no, she's not going to run. I don't think she's going to run. I think she's just kind of taking another opportunity to promote herself. But let's look at all this stuff because there's totally a chance that she could. All right, so here we go. Here is an article from the AP that has been updated as of about an hour ago, as of us streaming this live right now. Democrats' 2020 race has a new shadow, Hillary Clinton. All right, what's going on here? Some Democrats are putting up caution signs for Hillary as she wades back into the presidential politics by casting 2020 candidate Tulsi Gabbard as a Russian asset, mocking President Donald Trump's dealing with a foreign leader and drawing counterattacks from both. By the way, she did say something about Jill Stein too, and that's not getting near as much attention, which I get it. Jill Stein is not running for president. I think it's pretty much certain she's not going to be the Green Party nominee. She's letting someone else take up that mantle. But, she smeared two people, not just one. Jill Stein was part of that as well. So anyway, Bernie Sanders tweeted, people can disagree on issues, but it is outrageous for anyone to suggest that Tulsi is a foreign asset, which is true. Well played, Bernie. All right. So Larry Cohen, one of Sanders' top supporters, was more conciliatory, but warned in an interview that Clinton could harm the eventual 2020 nominee by weighing in against specific candidates. Even a long shot, according to the article, even a long shot like Gabbard. Okay, so what Cohen is saying, Hillary Clinton has put a lifetime into the Democratic Party. She deserves to be heard. Okay. And this person is a prominent member of the DNC who also chairs our revolution. All right. But in the senior role that she has, it's her job to embrace the range of politics within the party and not polarize within it. Fair enough. Lucy still showing the butthole. Lucy's like, DNC, that gets a butthole. You say DNC, I say cat butthole. That's Lucy. All right. So here's the important sentence here. For her part, aides say Clinton isn't attempting any calculated play. What's that code for? That is code for, according to her aide, she's not going to run for president. That's what that's code for. Okay, so here's what they're saying. The short of it is she's on a book tour and is feeling unconstrained about speaking her mind. when is Hillary Clinton ever feeling constrained about speaking her mind in recent years? I'd be curious the answer to that. But anyway, it's easy to overascribe to strategy about every word she utters, but it's as simple as that. She's out there telling the truth. Okay. Overascribe a strategy. Look, it's very clear what she said on that podcast. I listened to the audio. She is accusing candidates, and it's obvious which candidate she was pointing her finger at, of being Russian assets, which is a truly despicable thing to do, to accuse somebody of being a traitor to the country with no evidence whatsoever other than you don't like the person. That's it. Other than the person has a history of going against you and your tribe. Tulsi Gabbard went against the DNC, stepped down because of the way they treated Bernie Sanders. So, yeah, Hillary Clinton, not a fan of Tulsi Gabbard. Hillary Clinton, not a fan of Jill Stein. Because remember Jill Stein's crime. Jill Stein committed the crime of thinking that democracy was open to everybody and running for president with the Green Party, which is a nationally recognized party. And people voted for Jill Stein. A lot of those voters were Green Party voters who would not have voted if she wasn't on the ballot. But Hillary felt entitled to all those votes. Anyway, no need to rehash all that. But, all right, so sitting senators like, here, this paragraph is interesting to me. Sitting senators like Democrat John Kerry and Republican John McCain quietly returned to Capitol Hill. Democrat Al Gore became a leading advocate for climate action. McCain's running mate, Sarah Palin, has made perhaps the biggest recent splash as a conservative media sensation who helped stoke a base that ultimately embraced Trump. Okay, another translation for this paragraph. All other people who ran for president and lost in recent years, or on a VP ticket, all other candidates that have done that, even Sarah Palin, who is despicable beyond comprehension. But even Sarah Palin, after they lost, they took up something a little bigger than themselves. That's what that's code for. John Kerry and Republican John McCain, they went back to work. That's what they did. They went back to work doing their thing. Which their thing was nothing good, don't get me wrong. But they still just went to work on a cause that, at least in their mind, presumably, is a little bit bigger than themselves. Al Gore probably did the most noble thing. He started working on the cause of climate change. And he got mocked and laughed at for it for years. But he took up that cause. Now, I don't agree with Al Gore on everything. I disagree with him on a lot. But the fact that after he lost in 2000, I'm using the air quotes here because he didn't actually lose. But the fact that election was clearly hijacked in plain sight in 2000, he took up a cause, and that cause was global warming and climate change, a cause that's bigger than him promoting himself. Hillary Clinton and even Sarah Palin participated in a movement, a gross movement, but a movement nonetheless. Hillary Clinton only won, as they put it here, Hillary is in her own category as a global figure. That's a really diplomatic way of saying Hillary, unlike all those other people, only focused on one cause, herself. So, in the article, goes on to point out Clinton produced no evidence that Moscow is directly backing Gabbard, but and according to this article, Russian state-owned media and a number of alt-right websites have promoted the Congresswoman's Democratic campaign. I don't even know what that means. That is so vague. So Russian state. Okay, so someone on RT and/or RT America said something about Tulsi Gabbard. There was someone on a network at some point that liked her, and a number of alt-right websites. I have no idea what those websites are. I have no idea where those websites are at. I can't speak to the validity or not of that. I mean, it's just like they're grasping for straws at trying to make some point of commonality. Trying to find, this is them grasping for straws, trying to find the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, because really the only sentence they need here, Clinton produced no evidence that Moscow is directly backing Gabbard. That's really all you need there. That's all you need. All right. So I don't think this means she's going to run for president. I really don't. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. Is there a chance she will still jump in this thing? Totally. Um, I just think in this case, her aides are telling the truth and she is just trying to promote herself. But why don't we? Because a couple of people on Twitter pointed to this. They pointed to her website saying it was looking a little more presidential as of recent. Well, let's go and decide for ourselves. Here's Hillary Clinton's website, hillaryclinton.com. Check it out. Welcome to the office of Hillary Rodham Clinton. Cool. Stoked to be here. Longtime listener, first time caller. Read about Hillary's life. No, thank you. See Hillary's current projects. Okay, let's go there. Check this out. This is pretty amazing. Alumni Network. While you see that first, you're like, oh, is she doing something for her alma mater? I guess that's pretty cool. No. Let's read on. Hillary Land. She called it Hillary Land. Hillary Land is a volunteer-founded and volunteer-led online community aiming to connect all the people who have worked for Hillary Rodham Clinton during her more than 40 years of public service. If you ever wondered, where is the lamest meetup group on the frickin' planet? We have your answer for you. How? I mean, look, and I guess this is volunteer founded, so maybe Hillary didn't found this. I'm sure she played a big role, though. I know that to run for office, you have to have a certain degree of self-involvement. I mean, that's just true. But then you have people like a Hillary Clinton or like a Beto O'Rourke who live streams a dentist appointment, who just take it to the utmost extreme. And I get it. I'm in show business. You got to have a degree of self-involvement to do that too. I understand that. But holy cow, Hillary Land. It's a network. This is a noble project that Hillary Rodham Clinton lists on her website as one of the first projects. One of the first things. There's a Clinton Foundation that's supposedly committed to doing service all around the world. We live in a country where there is poverty on the rise, where homelessness is on the rise, richest country in the world, but there is a homeless epidemic. There is an opioid crisis. There is an outdated drug war that continues. There are people without health care. There are people without access to clean water. Lucy is really upset about all this. Lucy, you need to hear this. It's not just going to go away. And Hillary Clinton, what's a big project she's got to work on? A supposed, quote, public servant, Hillary Land, where she connects alumni. Alumni from her alma mater? No. Not even that kind of alumni. Alumni who worked for her at some point in time. What are those meetups like? Man, 2016, we sure did lose the most winnable election in history, right? Sure did. Let's have some white wine. Okay, here's the other project. Onward Together. Yeah, okay. We're all familiar with Onward Together. And notice how the arrow's pointed right. I know we've pointed this out before. And then, of course, her book, What Happened? In her new book, Hillary Clinton reveals what she was thinking and feeling during one of the most unpredictable presidential elections in history. Spoiler alert, what was she thinking? It's everybody's fault but mine. It's everybody's fault but mine. It's everybody's fault but mine. All right, so let's go to policy. Some people were pointing at this. Okay, so Hillary's vision for America during her 2016 campaign for president. So they are kind of speaking past tense here. During her 2016 campaign for president, Hillary and her team laid out a comprehensive progressive vision, progressive should be in quotes there, for America's future. A fair tax system, addiction and substance use. The fair tax system was her going up to Wall Street and be like, pay your fair share, cut it out. That was it. An economy that works for everyone, platitudes. An end to Alzheimer's disease. All right, that's a specific at least. Okay. Supporting autism. All right. Once again, at least something specific. Campus sexual assault. All right. Climate change. Healthcare, which, by the way, if you go to healthcare, you have an outdated something that is just kind of defend and expand the Affordable Care Act, which covers 20 million people. Leaves out about 30 million. Doesn't tell you that part. And defend and expand. They still, nobody talks specifics as to what that means. Let's expand this plan
that still leaves people out in the cold that Americans still can't afford. Let's expand it. What does that mean? What does that mean? Expand it. Nobody can explain what that means. And when you ask someone for specifics, what does it mean? Expanding the Affordable Care Act, which is Mitt Romney's healthcare plan, which leaves the for-profit insurance industry, which are the parasites prohibiting us from having an efficient universal system. What does expanding that mean? Are only 16 million people going to be left out in the cold? 10 million? What does it mean? Nobody can explain it. And whenever somebody tries to troll you for bringing up that point, they just say, I think it's pretty obvious what it means. And then you say, well, explain it to me. If it's so obvious, please explain it to me. And then they block you on Twitter because they are, quote, correcting the record. Refresher, if you don't remember what correct the record is, it's Hillary Clinton's domestic troll farm. It's literally what it is. Okay, so in conclusion here, no, I do not think Hillary Clinton's going to run for president. Her website does seem to be past tense. It seems to be focused on new projects, which, spoiler alert, all involve Hillary Clinton as the focal point of attention. I think she did this to try to sell more books, to try to stay in the public spotlight. And I think she wants to be vocal in the 2020 election. And how is she being vocal? She's throwing out horrible accusations against people. She has no evidence about these accusations. She just doesn't like them. She doesn't like them. So she's polarizing an already very divided primary, an already very divided shill of a party. That's what she's adding. And, you know, I've said this before. I've said it again. Her endorsement is a hindrance to anyone that receives it. It will hurt you if you get an endorsement from her. She is one of the most disliked figures in American politics, deservedly so. And she is disliked all across the aisle because everybody to her left is some extreme idealist purist who hates America. Everybody to her right is some racist deplorable. Everybody who didn't vote for her is some sexist deplorable. Oh, and by the way, if you live in one of the states that didn't go for her, it's because you're backwards. It's because you and where you live are backwards and you're flyover country and we should just forget about you. That's her attitude. You wonder how she lost to Donald Trump. But I don't think she's going to run. Could I be wrong? Totally. We don't know yet. I totally could be wrong. I hope I'm not. I hope I'm not. Because if she runs and somehow she gets the nomination, which, you know, by somehow, I mean they would cheat for her. But if she does get the nomination and we have a rematch, we're guaranteed 4 more years of Trump. We're guaranteed. All right. But I don't think she's going to run. So we don't know the answer for sure yet, but I'm still going with no. I don't think she's going to run. I think she's just doing what she does best, promoting herself. All right. What do you think, Lucy? See how clingy she is this morning? She's like, please don't leave again. We're going to go to Seattle, Washington. This was shared by RF Hartwell over on the Reddit subsection. So here's what happened in Seattle. So Bernie Sanders joins Elizabeth Warren in criticizing Amazon spending in Seattle City Council elections. Bernie Sanders has joined fellow Democratic presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren in decrying Amazon's heavy spending on Seattle's pivotal city council elections. Amazon last week reported a record $1.05 million contribution to a political action committee that's been paying door-to-door canvassers and buying advertisements to boost pro-business candidates. Why is Amazon doing this? I'll tell you why. Amazon, first of all, has a big presence in Seattle. We all know that. And if you didn't, now you know. Amazon, huge presence in Seattle, has done a lot of negative things to housing in that city. But here's what happened a little while ago, and we covered this extensively on the show when it was going on. There was a tax proposal by the Seattle City Council that did have overall support. And it was a modest tax increase on the wealthiest companies in the city. And all of that revenue would go to help homelessness. It was a very fair proposal. It was, hey, your company has flourished here. Seattle has helped your company flourish. Why don't you help us out and give us a little bit back to fight homelessness in the city? We have more homeless because you're here. You being here has caused more homelessness in our city. We have given you tax incentives in the past. We have given you a great city to conduct business. You use our city services. This has been a good match. We proposed a modest tax for you to help out homelessness a little bit. Most of the companies who would have had to pay this tax did so without complaint, or were willing to do so without complaint. Who made a big stink about it? Amazon. And there were several. I think Starbucks also said something, and I believe Microsoft might have as well. Don't quote me on that. This is a while ago. But basically, Amazon was the ringleader in complaining, and then a couple others complained as well. But Amazon was the big ringleader. Ring, no pun intended. I actually didn't intend that, but it sort of happened organically. Amazon didn't want to pay that. They didn't want to pay that. They said, screw you. We don't give a shit. Eventually, Amazon, they threatened to leave town. They did all these threats, and they won over just enough people that it didn't move forward. Also, Seattle City Council has Sama Juan, an open socialist. So that's why you have Amazon rallying in local elections big time. Why do they do that? Because they don't want to have to pay this tax in the future. And because they don't like the fact that there's a socialist involved in Seattle. That's why Amazon's throwing a lot of money into local elections. What's the big lesson from this, folks? The big lesson is you still have power locally. Yeah, Amazon got what they wanted there because they threw a big enough of a hissy fit and they wielded their power as much as they could. They got what they wanted there, which sucks. They shouldn't have got what they wanted. But there's still power locally because now Amazon's a little scared and they're rallying a lot of money to make sure they get their pro-business people, which basically means we're going to give the corporations whatever they want and let them screw the city in the process. We're going to make sure we get those people in there. So if you're thinking of running for city council, do it. If you're thinking of running for mayor, do it. If you don't want to get involved in electoral politics, I don't blame you. But there's a lot of power to run locally. You know, I get contacted by so many candidates, and I do my best to have candidates on as often as I can. And I don't really respect our electoral process. I'm not a fan of it. I want to be outside of it. I am more for causes than I am for candidates. That's just how I am. That's how I try to be on this show. But I still respect the fact that some people, they realize, hey, electoral politics still has a seat at the table. I'm willing to try to get into that machine and change things for the better. I respect that. Something I would never do. I respect it. And I do think there's some good people out there trying to infiltrate the machine, so to speak. Do it locally. Consider do it locally. I can count on one hand. Actually, wait, I don't even need a hand. Because I was just thinking, I have had people running for city council on before. Every single time it's because a listener requested them. And I actually had to contact them myself. I've never been contacted by somebody running for local office, by someone saying, hey, I'm going to do city council. I'm going to do mayor. So I encourage y'all to go out and do it. Now, granted, that's a different type of race. So I don't know how a show like this would necessarily help. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. There is power locally. Otherwise, Amazon wouldn't be pouring $1 million into local races like this. Now, granted, $1 million for Jeff Bezos is not even a drop in the bucket. Whatever less than a drop is in a bucket, that's what $1 million is to Jeff Bezos. But speaking of corporations and big tech, we got a net neutrality story going on. I saw this floating on the Twitter today, thought we'd talk about it. Ajit Pai was at a tech conference recently right here in Southern California. I was not in town. I was out of town for my sister's wedding, so I wasn't in the area. Otherwise, I might have shown up. Who knows? I might have shown up, tried to get an interview with him. Hey, Ajit Pai, wow, how does it feel knowing you're the face of the person trying to ruin the internet for everyone as we know it? How does that make you feel? But I didn't get my opportunity. But anyway, boom. There's a little goofy thing here. What's this guy saying? Oh, it's a big pharma ad. That's appropriate. All right. FCC Chairman Ajit Pai argues a patchwork of state regulations is bad for business. What does he mean here? He says it's time for Congress to rethink federalism in the internet age. What does this headline mean? Let's break down the headline. Ajit Pai really hates the fact that states are passing net neutrality bills. And he says it's time for Congress to rethink federalism in the internet age. He wants a federal regulation that states can't have net neutrality. By the way, this is the guy who said the FCC needs to be hands-off on the internet. That's why we shouldn't have net neutrality protections. We should be hands-off. But then the court ruled, well, states can pass their own net neutrality bills. That's not against the law. They can do it. We just ruled it. So now he's saying, oh, wait, the FCC needs to be hands-on federal rules for the internet. We need to be hands-on. I thought you just said we had to be hands-off. No. We need to be hands-on now because we can help the corporations more if we're hands-on. This guy's a hypocrite, and he's caught in a web of his own bullshit. Hey, we need to be hands-off on the internet, so let's repeal net neutrality. That helps out the corporations. Hey, we like net neutrality, so we're going to pass some state laws for net neutrality. Oh, wait. We need federal regulation now. We need federal. When I said we need to be hands-off and not have federal, I was kidding. I was drinking too much out of my big oversized Reese's mug, and there was vodka in it. I was drunk. Now I'm sober. All right, so let's get into this. FCC Chairman Ajit Pai worries a patchwork of local and state regulations on internet technologies, i.e. net neutrality protections for consumers, could hurt the competitiveness of the U.S. in the tech sector. He was speaking at a Wall Street Journal Tech Live conference in Laguna Beach, California. I bet that was a hell of a party. Tech conference, Wall Street Journal. Man, I'm sure the vino did flow. All right, so Ajit Pai made the case for harmonizing regulation amongst federal and state and local governments. Why does he want that? Okay, first of all, here's why he wants it. He doesn't want states to have net neutrality protections because that hurts the big internet service providers, which is who Ajit Pai serves. He doesn't serve you, the consumer. He serves the big tech companies that want to screw over your internet access. Comcast, AT&T, Spectrum. What do they want to do? They want net neutrality to go away completely, which we don't have net neutrality, but we're fighting in the courts and we're passing state bills. So we're holding the front lines, basically. But with net neutrality gone, what can these ISPs do, these internet service providers? They can carve the internet up and make it into cable television 2.0 and price gouge you, the consumer. They can also create fast lanes and slow lanes. So some websites would load faster than others, i.e. CNN will load fast. Shows like this will load slow. It will change the face of the internet as we know it, and it will carve the internet into what we have on television and what we have on radio. And once we lose a medium, we don't get it back, i.e. it will gut the internet as we know it. We'll be telling our children and our grandchildren what the internet used to be like. That is, of course, if we're not all underwater by that point. That's what's at stake. So states have rallied and they have passed net neutrality bills, and the court ruled. So there was a court ruling not too long ago that was half good, half bad. The half bad part, they upheld the net neutrality repeal. They said it was okay that the FCC repealed net neutrality protections, which we got on the books in 2015. We've had net neutrality protections assumed since the advent of the internet, but we got it official on the books in 2015. When Tom Wheeler and the Obama administration had their arms twisted by the public to do the right thing at the 11th hour. Keep in mind, Tom Wheeler was a cable lobbyist who didn't want to give us net neutrality protections. He did the right thing at the 11th hour. Obama did tell him to do the right thing at the 11th hour. That, of course, was after the FCC website crashed from so many people commenting, demanding net neutrality. Just say it. So that's what's going on with net neutrality. Now, if states pass net neutrality bills, we have one in California that's moving forward because the court just ruled it could. If New York passes one as well, the ISP's hands are tied because they can't unroll anti-net neutrality packages to consumers in California, and they can't do it in New York. That's about 43% of the customer base right there. Their hands are tethered. And then other states will follow suit, and we'll get net neutrality back. So that's why Ajit Pai is saying, oh, yeah, no, we need a federal agreement now. We need a federal agreement. Here's a solution, Ajit Pai, because this California net neutrality bill goes even further. It goes even further because it bans zero rating, which means an internet service provider can make you use their video player. And if you do that, it doesn't count against your data. That wasn't even in the federal bill. That's in California's bill. So our net neutrality protections are even better than what passed in 2015. So here's the solution to GPI. Here's a solution. Give up. Give up and allow Congress and support the Save the Internet Act, which basically just gives us our net neutrality protections of 2015 back. That's what the Save the Internet Act is. Mitch McConnell said it's dead upon arrival. You can use your influence to tell the Senate, to tell Mitch McConnell, to tell President Trump even, just let it go. Just give them the net neutrality protections back from 2015. That way, you have the federal regulation you want. It's just net neutrality, which is what you don't want. But otherwise, as GPI, the states are going to rally for net neutrality protections. And their protections can be even more extensive than the federal thing that passed in 2015. And then we're going to go further, and we're going to start building our own internet infrastructure all across the country. That's happening too, and I'm sure you're not a fan of that. I'm sure you want policy prohibiting that from happening, but you're a free market guy, so how do you justify that in your head, Ajit Pai? That's called competition, baby. You can't be against that, Ajit Pai. That's your thing. Free market, right? So what are you going to say against that? Oh, we need federal. Oh, okay. Well, here's your federal idea, Ajit Pai. Reinstate the Save the Internet Act. Otherwise, it's going to be even worse for the big cable lobby that you pander to. You got caught in a web of your own hackery, Ajit Pai. You're a shill, you're a sellout, and you can't even cater to the people you sold out to. Shame. So hopefully that's what the FCC does. Hopefully they just accept the loss here and they just say, okay, Save the Internet Act, you can have it. Then we get net neutrality back federally, and then we continue. We continue by getting municipal broadband all across the country. What is municipal broadband? That's city-owned internet, where you, the citizen, have control of your own internet access because it's city-run and net neutrality is written in the charter, and it serves the citizens. This is how we should have done the internet in the first place, not giving it over to a bunch of corporations that just want to form an organized duopoly across the country, which is what they did. That's why our internet access sucks compared to a lot of other countries, and we pay more for it than a lot of other countries. So there you go. Lesson is, Ajit Pai and the FCC, they are scared because they know that they're losing this one. And they're losing this one because of so many people who have rallied to the cause. That's why they're losing. Because of organizations like Free Press and Fight for the Future, the organization I collaborated with on a live stream for net neutrality, and the Center for Media Justice, and the Hispanic Media Network. And there's a bunch of others that I can't think of off the top of my head, but the tons of Demand Progress. Can't forget Demand Progress. Mark of Demand Progress has been on this show before. They held the front line and they rallied. And we're starting to win here because the states can pass net neutrality laws. And the FCC doesn't like that. The Ajit Pai FCC doesn't like that because they know these states pass net neutrality bills. Well, the ability to gut net neutrality is over. So you want federal regulation, Ajit Pai? Support the Save the Internet Act. Give us back the 2015 net neutrality protections that we had. Give us that back. That's the best case scenario for you. That is the best case scenario for Ajit Pai and his big cable gangbang. So accept the loss here, Ajit Pai. Accept the loss. All right. That's a net neutrality update. So I tweeted something yesterday. I know a lot of you are already aware of what's going on with Julian Assange. This is our last story for the day. It's certainly not a happy one. And I want to go to... First, I want to give an update here. So let's do an update first, and then I wanted to show you guys something I tweeted yesterday. Julian Assange, a judge refuses to delay the extradition hearing. This is from yesterday, so they refused it yesterday. A judge in London has rejected Julian Assange's attempt to delay his U.S. extradition case. The United States wants to try the WikiLeaks co-founder over allegations of leaking government secrets. His lawyer had asked for more time to gather evidence, But District Judge Vanessa Barasisser, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, refused and said a full hearing will begin in February. Okay, so what spawned them asking for more time? Well, let me show you something that I posted on Twitter yesterday. And I still do feel this way. Obviously, nothing's changed. Let me go ahead and find it for you. Sorry, I had to scroll a little bit. Okay. So here's the tweet I was responding to. This is from Tristan Kirk, a reporter over in the UK. Today in court, and this was yesterday, today in court, Julian Assange struggled to say his own name and date of birth as he appeared in the dock. He claimed to have not understood what happened in the case management hearing and was holding back tears as he said, "I can't think properly." This is a common symptom of somebody who has faced solitary confinement and has faced the type of treatment he has faced over the years. Keep in mind, this is years. It's not like he was just in an embassy for a couple months or something. It was years. It was years where he was denied sunlight, where he didn't see people often, where he was pretty much in solitary confinement in a small space. This causes paranoia. This causes you to not be able to think clearly. That's a common side effect. You don't know how to function in society. You get jittery because you're not around people. Your reaction time is messed with. Those are all common symptoms that happen to you when you're confined like he was for that length of time. You can't think clearly. You can't process what's going on. So what I tweeted, what's happening to Julian Assange is an Orwellian execution, and the world is participating. This is unreal. And I'm sure there's probably a better phrase than Orwellian execution. That's just like, what I thought of. And what that means, if anyone has not read the novel 1984, which if you haven't, go read it right now. But basically what happens there is, they were kind of being controlled by force, by a deep state. It was a dystopian novel that I think some people read that book and thought that that was a roadmap. But it wasn't. It was a warning. But what they would do is if you didn't toe the line, they would just psychologically torture you until you broke. And that is what's happening here. They're trying to psychologically torture this guy until he breaks, until he can't defend himself at all. And I think what they're really hoping for is they eventually just reduce him to the point where he just tells them whatever they want to hear. And what is his crime? His crime is publishing materials. That's his crime. Publishing materials that were true. They were true. And all of the other fluff that people use to justify being against this guy, like, oh, well, there's the rape case. Okay, that case is very shoddy. There's a lot of holes in it. It has been dismissed and then not dismissed and then dismissed again and not dismissed and then dismissed again and then not dismissed. We live in a world where someone is innocent until proven guilty. And right now, everything available to us, it looks like this is pretty much just a political hit job. If anything more comes to the surface, well, hey, we'll all be listening. But we all know that's not why he's going through what he's going through. He's going through what he's going through because of what he published. That's why this is happening. Okay, so let's not get caught on what is, as of right now, a red herring. Furthermore, he used WikiLeaks to promote Trump. Okay, there's no evidence. All he did was publish stuff. Publish stuff he thought the public ought to know. That's all he did. There's no evidence he's a fan of Trump. No evidence of that whatsoever. More evidence to the contrary. And by the way, if you go through WikiLeaks, there's a lot of unflattering stuff about Donald Trump over the years. A lot of unflattering stuff. But even if he did, prefer Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton, which, to the extent of my knowledge, he was a fan of neither. But even if he did, does that justify what he's going through and how he's treated for publishing information? No, it does not. Nowhere close. Nor is he the reason we have Donald Trump. There are a lot of reasons why we have Donald Trump. Julian Assange is not on that list. Julian Assange is a publisher. And if you want to say what he published helped Donald Trump become president, okay, well, guess what? Your anger should be at the DNC for cheating in the first place. Your anger should be at the corrupt behavior of them, not the person who told you about it. That is the textbook definition of shooting the messenger. He's a publisher. It's his job to publish the truth, and that's what he did. How many things have WikiLeaks ever retracted? 0. They've never had to retract a thing. So if you want to say what WikiLeaks published led to the nomination of Donald Trump, okay, your anger should be with the DNC. Because that's who gave us Trump, by the way. Reasons we have Donald Trump is because of 30 plus years of rugged neoliberalism. And a lot of people in the United States has had enough, so they took a chance on a snake oil salesman. The corrupt behavior of the DNC that kneecapped the person who could have beat Trump, which was Bernie Sanders. The narcissism and hubris of Hillary Clinton for not extending an olive branch to Bernie Sanders and instead picking the worst vice presidential candidate in the history of American politics in Tim Kaine, who couldn't even beat Mike Pence in a debate. And having the most underwhelming campaign in history, so terrible it lost to Donald Trump. That's why we have Donald Trump. So you want to get angry about what WikiLeaks revealed? Get angry at the DNC. Don't get angry at WikiLeaks. And yes, this is a modern day Orwellian execution of a publisher. That's what this is. And the media is complicit. And there's that famous meme that goes around the internet. I've seen that meme many times. You know, first they came for the journalists, and then, hey, I don't know what happened after that. And a lot of people tweeted yesterday, they were like, why am I only hearing about this from a comedian? Why is the only person telling me about this stuff comedians that stream from their living rooms? Oh boy. Well, it's kind of a sad way to end today, but that's our last story for the day. I'm going to go to you guys, see what you're saying in the chat. Shout out to our sponsors, ZT.com, ZHITA.com. Their tea kind of rules. Tea's a good thing. It'll keep you chill, you know. George Allen, thank you very much for the super chat contribution. You don't have a comment, but thank you very much. Action for Assange. At yesterday's hearing, Julian could barely recall his name and date of birth. Yep. He is being tortured and is not being covered. Please take action. Thank you very much, Action for Assange, and thank you for your super chat contribution. Philip Blair, thank you for your super chat contribution. Poison Ivy League by Elvis Presley. Cool. Thanks, Philip. That's the song of the day. I didn't have one today, so thank you, Philip Blair. Song of the day, Poison Ivy League by Elvis Presley. Cool. I actually don't remember that Elvis song off the top of my head. Maybe it's not even an Elvis song and you're punking me. I don't know. But Poison Ivy League by Elvis Presley. Here, we'll look it up real quick. I'm sure it actually is, but Poison Ivy League, Elvis Presley. I like me some Elvis. Yeah, okay, cool. So Poison Ivy League, Elvis Presley. That's the song of the day. Thank you very much for that, Philip Blair. And Action for Assange, thank you again for the super chat contribution. We do a live vigil every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. I do recommend you guys check that out. That's Action for Assange. You can find them over on YouTube. It is run by Andrew and Taylor. They do an excellent job. They have a lot of great guests. I have participated myself before. Please do check that out. And that happens every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern time, which is 7 p.m. Pacific time. Yeah, no. Guys, good to be back. I've missed you. I hope you missed me. I'm sure some of you have. Right? Man, that's I'm a humble guy. I'm sure some of you, I hope I missed you. Did you miss me? I don't know. Will you? I'm going to pet my cat now. I'm needy. But I've missed doing this show. It's good to be back. Tour dates, Australia, it's coming up. Get your tickets. Don't wait. They're going fast. We're running out. Get your tickets now. Sydney, wait. Let me go in order. Melbourne, November 14th. Adelaide, November 15th. Sydney, November 17th. Perth, November 22nd. Get your tickets now at romplacone.com. Southern California, get your tickets for Ventura Harbor Comedy Club on December 13th and the Dojo of Comedy in Los Angeles on December 14th. Graham Elwood and I are doing long sets, and we're gearing up for our tour in 2020. We're doing some workshop shows right in our own home area to prep for those. So get your tickets for that now. That's December 13th, 14th, romplacone.com for those tickets. 2020 dates, we got some tickets available now. More will be announced soon, but right now, here's what we got. February 8th, Tucson, Arizona. March 12th, Orlando, Florida. April 10th, I will be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. April 24th, Seattle, Washington. April 25th, Portland, Oregon. Tickets for those shows are available now at romplacone.com. Oh, and February 29th, I almost forgot. February 29th, San Francisco, California. So we got some tickets for 2020 available now. More will be announced soon. If you want to support this show on the sustainability end, please do consider becoming a patron. Patreon.com/romplacone. For a give what you can level, you get an exclusive stream once a week where the patrons get to give their thoughts. I respond to what the patrons say. That happens once a week, and the replay is only available on Patreon. You get full stand-up clips that aren't available anywhere else. You get my album to download in its entirety. You just get to download my album for a give what you can level monthly. You get full Lucy dialogues before they become illustrated. That's all for a give what you can level over on patreon.com/romplacone. Guys, thank you so much for being part of this. It's good to be back. Thank you, George Allen. Thank you, Action for Assange. Thank you, Philip Blair. Thank you for your Super Chat contributions. RF Hartwell, Edwin, thank you very much for contributing the articles today. Carl Bode is who I got the other thing from on Twitter. The Julian Assange thing, a bunch of people were tweeting about that, tweeting it at me, tweeting it at Graham, tweeting it at Jimmy, tweeting it all over the place. So I can't really say like one person, and a couple used the Get Your News On hashtag. So thank you, everybody who sent that my way. I was following it yesterday, and of course didn't do a show yesterday because I was traveling. So yeah, you know. Jedi Mullet, thank you for the last minute Super Chat contribution. I appreciate it. Jedi Mullet says, if Big H, I'm assuming that means Hillary, if Big H runs again, we should do a class action lawsuit on her for harassment. No means no. Right on, Jedi Mullet. Thank you very much for the Super Chat contribution. And thank all of you. Thank you so much. Feels good to be back. Feeling great. Be nice to your mother. That's what this shirt says. And that's the earth. Right? I like that message. Lucy's right here. Lucy's right here. She's like, are we going to hang? You all right? She's been a little clingy. I was away. But you know the drill. Lucy says meow. I say peace. Peace. We'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same channel. 1 p.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Get your news on with Ron right here on YouTube or Periscope or Facebook, wherever you watch it, or Twitch. Lucy says meow. I say peace. See you tomorrow. Peace.